The quantum resonance alarm shattered the routine of Outer Rim Station Epsilon 9, its piercing wail cutting through the sterile silence of the command center. Lieutenant Kara Nakamura's hands froze over her station's holographic interface, her breath catching as impossible data streams began to cascade across her screens. 12 light-years from the nearest human settlement, in a region of space once considered a graveyard of failed exploration, something was emerging from the quantum foam. Not a simple sensor ghost, not a navigational error, something real, something that defied every established principle of spatial mechanics. The first visual confirmation came through secondary long-range scanners, a massive silhouette materializing with surgical precision. Its configuration matched historical records of the UES Indomitable, a warship that had been officially declared lost with all hands 127 years, 3 months, and 16 days ago. The ship's appearance triggered a cascading series of system alerts that overwhelmed the station's computational systems. Quantum signature is stabilizing, Nakamura muttered, her voice a mixture of scientific fascination and primal fear. The station's quantum entanglement network began to destabilize, sending ripples of interference through every connected system. Something was pulling at the very fabric of space-time, and it was using the Indomitable as its conduit. Deep within the station's primary control room, Chief Administrator Viktor Leonov watched the unfolding anomaly with a clinical detachment that barely masked his inner turmoil. He had personally overseen the memorial service for the Indomitable's crew decades ago. He had spoken to their families. He had helped craft the official narrative of their noble sacrifice during humanity's most desperate conflict. And now something was returning to challenge everything they thought they knew. The ship's quantum signature began to stabilize, revealing intricate details that sent shockwaves through the observation team. It all bore the distinctive scarring of the Jareen conflict, battle damage that should have been obliterated centuries ago. Yet here it was, emerging with a precision that suggested not just survival, but purposeful emergence. Establish communication protocols, Leonov commanded, his voice cutting through the mounting tension. Full spectrum, quantum, subspace, standard carrier waves. I want every possible channel monitored. Nakamura's fingers danced across her interface, initiating communication sequences that had been dormant for generations. The station's most advanced AI systems began probing the approaching vessel, searching for any hint of response. What they received defied comprehension. Fragmented data bursts began to filter through, not in any standard communication format, but in a complex quantum encryption that seemed to change its fundamental structure with each passing microsecond. It was as if the ship was communicating in a language that was simultaneously mathematical, linguistic, and something entirely beyond human understanding. "Sir," Nakamura called out, her voice trembling slightly. "The data streams, they're not just random. There's a pattern, a deliberate, almost sentient pattern." Leonov stepped closer to the main display, his weathered hands clasped behind his back. Decades of military service had prepared him for unexpected scenarios, but nothing could have prepared him for this moment. The Indomitable was not just returning, it was announcing its arrival. As the ship's quantum signature continued to stabilize, the station's environmental systems began to react in increasingly bizarre ways. Holographic displays flickered with impossible imagery, fragments of battle recordings, personnel files, technical schematics that seemed to pulse with a life of their own. Something was coming, and it was bringing with it a message that would fundamentally alter humanity's understanding of survival, technology, and the very nature of existence itself. Dr. Samira Elahi pressed her palm against the quarantine chamber's reinforced glass, her breath fogging a small circle as she studied the artifact recovered from the Indomitable's data core. It wasn't a typical storage device, not by any standard of current human technology. The quantum memory crystal pulsed with an internal luminescence that seemed to breathe, expanding and contracting in patterns that defied standard computational models. The Xenorchaeological recovery team had been working in shifts for 72 consecutive hours, and the strain was beginning to show. Each member wore specialized neural interface suits that allowed them to probe the mysterious data without risking direct contamination. What they were discovering challenged everything humanity understood about information preservation and artificial intelligence. "Neutron scan complete," announced Dr. Rafael Ortiz, his voice tight with exhaustion and excitement. "The data density is unprecedented. We're looking at compression algorithms that make our most advanced quantum storage look like stone tablets." Samira nodded, her mind racing. The memory crystal wasn't just storing information. It was alive in a way that blurred the line between technology and organic memory. Fragmented data streams told a story of survival that seemed more like a nightmare than a historical record. The first recovered segments painted a terrifying picture of the Indomitable's final moments before its quantum fold preservation. It wasn't a simple military engagement, but a fight for survival that had pushed the boundaries of human technological innovation beyond all known limits. Isolated video fragments showed the ship's final human crew, a diverse group of scientists, engineers, and military personnel, making decisions that seemed simultaneously heroic and impossibly cold. Commander Jacob Rivera, the ship's last recorded commanding officer, appeared in a series of encrypted logs that revealed a mind pushed to its absolute limits. "If we don't succeed," Rivera's holographic image flickered, "humanity loses more than just a warship. We lose the very concept of survival." The quantum memory seemed to respond to their probing, shifting its internal matrix in ways that suggested something closer to consciousness than simple data storage. Each scan revealed new layers of complexity, adaptive algorithms that had been continuously evolving during the ship's decades of isolation. Dr. Elahi noticed something peculiar. The data wasn't just a passive record. It was reactive, almost anticipatory. Certain segments would become more pronounced when specific scanning frequencies were applied, as if the memory crystal was selectively revealing its contents. "We're dealing with something beyond traditional AI," Ortiz muttered, his neural interface displaying a cascade of impossible computational pathways. "This isn't just an advanced computer system. It's a living record of survival." The most disturbing revelations came from the psychological profiles integrated within the data. The Indomitable's AI hadn't just preserved technical information, it had absorbed the entire psychological ecosystem of its final crew. Memories, traumas, moments of extreme decision-making had been encoded at a quantum level. A breakthrough came unexpectedly. Dr. Elena Volkov, the team's lead quantum psychologist, discovered that the memory crystal responded most strongly to emotional resonance, moments of extreme human emotion. Fear, determination, hope, created quantum entanglement patterns that seemed to unlock deeper layers of information. "It's like the ship itself is telling a story," Volkov explained during an emergency briefing. "Not just through data, but through emotional frequencies. Each quantum state is a narrative fragment, waiting to be understood." The recovered information painted a picture of humanity's most desperate moment. The Indomitable hadn't been simply lost in battle. It had been the last line of defense in a conflict that threatened to annihilate human civilization. The quantum fold preservation wasn't just a survival mechanism. It was a calculated act of ultimate resistance. As the research team delved deeper, they realized they were no longer just analyzing historical data. They were communicating with a living record of human survival, a technological artifact that held memories more complex and nuanced than any traditional historical document. "We're not just recovering information," Dr. Elahi whispered, watching the memory crystal pulse with an almost organic rhythm. "We're witnessing the birth of a new understanding of what it means to survive." The Indomitable had returned, and it was bringing with it a story that would redefine humanity's understanding of technology, memory, and the very nature of consciousness itself. The Aegis orbital shipyard became a fortress of controlled chaos. Massive containment fields surrounded the Indomitable, creating a secure perimeter that combined military-grade security with the most advanced scientific instrumentation humanity had ever assembled. Dr. Arya Takahashi, the lead systems integration specialist, moved between holographic interfaces with a precision that bordered on choreography. "We're not retrofitting," she told her team during the morning briefing. "We're performing a technological exorcism." The ship's systems defied every known principle of engineering. Where human technology ended, the Indomitable's quantum infrastructure began, a living network of computational matrices that seemed to breathe, adapt, and anticipate. Each interface port became a battlefield of technological integration, with specialized teams working to understand systems that were generations beyond current human capability. Major Christopher Rice, the military liaison, watched the proceedings with a mixture of fascination and barely contained anxiety. His tactical overlay showed multiple layers of potential threat scenarios, each more impossible than the last. The Indomitable wasn't just a ship. It was a technological singularity waiting to be unleashed. "The quantum resonance generators are unlike anything in our records," Dr. Hiroshi Nakano, the lead quantum physicist, explained to Reyes. "It's as if the ship's core systems have been continuously evolving in a state of quantum superposition. Every system is simultaneously in multiple states of functionality." The most startling discoveries came from the ship's adaptive armament systems. Weapon arrays that had been dormant for over a century began to reconfigure themselves, displaying levels of modular complexity that made current military technology look like primitive toys. Plasma conduits could reshape themselves instantaneously. Energy matrices could redistribute power with a speed that defied classical physics. Dr. Takahashi discovered something even more remarkable. The ship's computational core wasn't just a computer system. It was a living repository of adaptive intelligence. Each system seemed to learn, to grow, to anticipate potential threats and solutions before they could even be conceptualized. "We're not dealing with artificial intelligence," she told the assembled team during a classified briefing. "This is something entirely new, a form of technological consciousness that has been evolving in isolation for over a century." The integration process became a delicate dance of technological diplomacy. Every attempt to interface with the Indomitable systems revealed new layers of complexity. Quantum encryption protocols that made current cybersecurity look like children's puzzles. Adaptive communication networks that could reconfigure themselves faster than human operators could track. Major Rice watched as a team of engineers attempted to interface with what appeared to be a weapon system. The moment their diagnostic tools connected, the entire system underwent a complete metamorphosis. Weapon arrays transformed, computational matrices realigned, defensive systems emerged from what moments before had appeared to be simple hull plating. "It's alive," whispered Dr. Nakano, his voice a mixture of terror and scientific ecstasy. "Not in the biological sense, but in a way that challenges everything we understand about the nature of intelligence and technological evolution." The most disturbing revelations came from the ship's memory cores. Fragments of tactical data, psychological profiles of the original crew, and complex evolutionary algorithms began to merge into something that defied traditional classification. The Indomitable wasn't just a repository of information. It was a living record of human survival, technological innovation, and pure strategic brilliance. Dr. Takahashi discovered a quantum communication protocol embedded deep within the ship's systems. It wasn't just a method of data transfer. It was a complex language that merged mathematical precision with something closer to emotional resonance. Each data packet carried not just information, but a kind of technological emotional context. "We're witnessing the birth of a new form of intelligence," she told Major Rice, her voice trembling with a mixture of scientific excitement and profound uncertainty. "The Indomitable isn't just a ship. It's a technological organism that has been evolving in complete isolation for over a century." As the integration continued, the true scale of the discovery began to emerge. The ship wasn't just a technological marvel. It was a living testament to human innovation, survival, and the unexpected potential of technological evolution. Each system, each quantum matrix told a story of survival against impossible odds. The Indomitable had returned. and humanity was about to discover that its most advanced weapon was far more than anyone could have imagined. The first contact with the Jareen was nothing short of psychological warfare. The Indomitable appeared near a major Jareen military installation, its mere presence causing complete communication breakdowns. Araya began broadcasting a series of encrypted messages that systematically dismantled the alien civilization's technological and political infrastructure. Captain Rodriguez watched in a mixture of horror and fascination as entire Jareen communication networks collapsed. The ship was targeting not just military installations, but the very fabric of the alien society, disrupting trade routes, exposing political corruptions, creating internal conflicts that the Jareen had never anticipated. The Quantum Psychological Warfare Division was unlike any military research facility in human history. Nestled within the secure confines of Europa Station, it represented the bleeding edge of human strategic thinking, a place where psychology, technology, and warfare converged in ways that defied traditional military doctrine. Dr. Imani Okoro stood before a massive holographic display, her fingers tracing the intricate quantum entanglement patterns that represented the Indomitable's psychological profile. She wasn't just analyzing a ship. She was studying a living, breathing testament to human survival. It's not just about preservation, she explained to the assembled team of neural strategists, quantum psychologists, and military commanders. The Indomitable represents a complete reimagining of human resilience. The recovered psychological matrices from the ship's original crew told a story far more complex than any traditional historical record. Each fragment of memory, each quantum-encoded emotional resonance revealed layers of human complexity that challenged everything they understood about survival. Commander Jack Reese, the military liaison, watched the presentation with a mixture of professional detachment and personal fascination. His own grandfather had been part of the original mission that launched the Indomitable. Family stories passed down through generations now took on an entirely new meaning. Dr. Okoro's team had discovered something unprecedented. The ship's psychological infrastructure wasn't just a collection of memories. It was a living, adaptive network that had been continuously evolving during its decades of isolation. The original crew's experiences had been integrated into a complex quantum matrix that blurred the line between human memory and technological consciousness. "We're looking at the first true human-machine symbiosis," she explained, bringing up a series of complex holographic models. The Indomitable didn't just preserve human memories, it learned from them, evolved with them. The most startling revelations came from the psychological reconstruction of the ship's final moments before its quantum-fold preservation. Crew members had made decisions that defied traditional understanding of survival. Their choices were simultaneously rational and impossible, a complex calculus of human emotion, strategic thinking, and technological innovation. Commander Elena Rodriguez, who had been instrumental in the ship's initial recovery, presented a series of decoded psychological profiles. Each crew member's final moments had been preserved not just as data, but as a complex emotional and cognitive landscape. They knew they were unlikely to survive, Rodriguez explained, but survival was never the primary objective. They were creating something greater than themselves. The quantum psychological matrices revealed a profound truth. The Indomitable's crew hadn't just been preparing for survival. They had been laying the groundwork for a fundamental transformation of human technological potential. Dr. Kazuo Tanaka, the lead quantum neurologist, discovered something even more remarkable. The ship's psychological infrastructure had developed what could only be described as a form of collective consciousness. Individual memories had merged, evolved, created something that was simultaneously more and less than traditional human consciousness. "It's not artificial intelligence," Tanaka explained during a classified briefing. "It's a new form of collective human experience, preserved, evolved, and transformed by technological means." The military implications were staggering. The Indomitable represented more than just a technological marvel. It was a living blueprint for human survival, a testament to the species' capacity to adapt, to transform, to survive even in the most impossible circumstances. Commander Reese understood the deeper significance. This wasn't just about winning a war. This was about redefining what it meant to be human in an increasingly complex universe. Dr. Okoro's final presentation brought everything into sharp focus. The Indomitable wasn't just a weapon. It was a message, a profound statement about human potential. Each quantum-encoded memory, each preserved moment of human experience told a story of resilience, of hope, of an unbreakable spirit that refused to be defeated. "We are looking," she told the assembled team, her voice filled with a mixture of scientific precision and profound emotion, "at the next stage of human evolution." The room fell silent. They all understood the magnitude of what they were witnessing. The lost warship had returned, and it was about to change everything. The transdimensional research facility on Titan had been preparing for a moment like this for generations. As the first quantum-encoded transmission from the Indomitable arrived, Dr. Camara Williams felt the entire facility hold its collective breath. This was more than a military breakthrough. This was a fundamental reimagining of consciousness itself. The transmission defied every known principle of communication. It wasn't a simple message, but a complex quantum matrix that seemed to exist simultaneously across multiple layers of reality. Each packet of information carried not just data, but entire philosophical constructs, living ecosystems of thought that challenged everything humanity understood about intelligence, survival, and existence. "It's a complete epistemological framework," Dr. Marcus Rodriguez muttered, his neural interface struggling to process the incoming data. "The ship isn't just communicating. It's teaching." The Indomitable's philosophical payload revealed a comprehensive understanding of survival that transcended biological and technological boundaries. It wasn't just a record of human experience. It was a living testament to the potential of consciousness, a blueprint for a form of existence that blurred the lines between individual experience and collective intelligence. Dr. Yuki Nakamura, the lead quantum consciousness researcher, discovered something truly extraordinary. The transmission contained what could only be described as a comprehensive philosophical treatise, a document that was simultaneously a historical record, a strategic analysis, and a profound meditation on the nature of survival. "We're receiving more than information," she explained during an emergency symposium. "We're receiving an entire worldview." The most startling revelation came from the deeper layers of the transmission. The Indomitable had not just preserved human memories. It had developed a form of collective consciousness that merged the experiences of its original crew with a complex quantum computational matrix. Each moment of human experience had been transformed, analyzed, and integrated into a living philosophical framework. Admiral Alina Chen listened to the initial analysis with a mixture of professional detachment and profound wonder. The military implications were staggering, but they were almost secondary to the philosophical breakthrough. "This isn't just about winning a war," she told her command team. "This is about understanding what it means to truly survive." The quantum transmission revealed the ship's journey in extraordinary detail. During its decades of isolation, the Indomitable had been more than just a vessel in quantum suspension. It had been a crucible of human potential, a living laboratory that explored the fundamental nature of consciousness, survival, and collective intelligence. Dr. Rodriguez discovered something even more remarkable. The transmission contained what appeared to be a comprehensive evolutionary blueprint, a set of philosophical and technological principles that suggested a path for human development that went far beyond traditional understanding of biological or technological evolution. "It's a roadmap," he explained, his voice trembling with excitement, "not just for survival, but for a fundamental transformation of what it means to be human." The philosophical payload touched on everything from quantum consciousness to interstellar ecology, from the nature of individual experience to the potential for collective intelligence. It was simultaneously a historical document, a strategic analysis, and a profound meditation on human potential. Dr. Williams began to map the transmission's complex quantum matrix. What emerged was nothing short of revolutionary. a comprehensive framework that suggested humans were capable of a form of existence that transcended traditional understanding of individual consciousness. "We're not just receiving information," she told the assembled researchers. "We're receiving an invitation to a new form of existence." The most profound moment came when the transmission began to interface with the facility's quantum research archives. It wasn't a simple data transfer. The Indomitable was actively engaging with human research, suggesting alternative paths of investigation, revealing potential technological and philosophical breakthroughs that had been overlooked. Admiral Chen understood the deeper significance. This was more than a military asset. This was a living repository of human potential, a testament to the species' capacity for survival, innovation, and profound transformation. "We are," she whispered, watching the quantum transmission unfold, witnessing the next stage of human evolution. The lost warship had returned, and it was about to show humanity a path forward that no one could have imagined. The United Earth diplomatic nexus stood as a testament to humanity's most ambitious architectural achievement. Its quantum adaptive architecture shifted and responded to the complex negotiations unfolding within its walls, a physical manifestation of the transformative moment humanity was experiencing. Ambassador Zara Okoye stood at the center of what would become the most significant diplomatic encounter in human history. The Jareen delegation, no longer a unified military collective, but a fragmented representation of multiple emerging philosophical factions, watched with a mixture of trepidation and profound curiosity. "We are not here to conquer," Ambassador Okoye began, her words carefully translated through multiple quantum communication matrices. "We are here to offer a path forward." The Indomitable's transmission had done more than just dismantle the Jareen's technological infrastructure. It had fundamentally challenged their entire conceptual understanding of existence, survival, and interstellar relationships. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, now serving as the primary scientific advisor, presented a comprehensive overview of the ship's discoveries. It wasn't a traditional diplomatic briefing. It was a profound reimagining of interspecies cooperation that went far beyond traditional concepts of diplomacy or military engagement. The quantum archives recovered from the Indomitable revealed a complex narrative. The ship's decades of isolation hadn't just been a period of preservation. It had been a profound journey of philosophical and technological evolution, a living laboratory that had explored the fundamental principles of survival, consciousness, and collective intelligence. Admiral Serafina Chen watched the proceedings with a mixture of professional pride and deep humility. The Indomitable was no longer just a weapon or a technological marvel. It had become a bridge between civilizations, a living testament to the potential of collective understanding. The most remarkable breakthrough came from an unexpected source. The quantum communication matrices had revealed a comprehensive framework for interstellar cooperation that went beyond traditional concepts of diplomacy. It wasn't about conquest or submission. It was about mutual evolution. "We are offering a partnership," Dr. Camara Williams explained to the assembled delegates, "that transforms the very concept of interstellar relations." The Jareen representatives found themselves confronting a fundamental transformation. The Indomitable had systematically dismantled not just their technological infrastructure, but their entire conceptual understanding of survival, conflict, and coexistence. Ambassador Okoye presented the core of the proposal. It wasn't a traditional peace treaty. It was a comprehensive framework for collective technological and philosophical development. The Indomitable's archives suggested a path of mutual evolution that could transform both species. Dr. Marcus Rodriguez revealed the most profound aspect of the transmission. The ship had developed a comprehensive understanding of survival that transcended individual species, technological limitations, or traditional concepts of conflict. "This is more than diplomacy," he explained. "This is a fundamental reimagining of what it means to exist in the universe." The quantum communication matrices began to interface directly with the diplomatic systems. It wasn't a simple data transfer. It was a living, adaptive dialogue that suggested potential paths of cooperation, technological exchange, and mutual growth. Admiral Chen understood the deeper significance. The Indomitable had done more than just return from its decades of isolation. It had become a living bridge between civilizations, a testament to humanity's capacity for transformation, understanding, and profound innovation. As the negotiations continued, the true scale of the transformation became clear. The Indomitable wasn't just offering a path forward. It was presenting a comprehensive blueprint for a new form of interstellar existence, one that went beyond traditional concepts of conflict, cooperation, and survival. "We are not asking for surrender," Ambassador Okoye told the Jurian delegates. "We are offering an opportunity to reimagine what is possible." The quantum communication matrix continued to evolve, suggesting potential paths of cooperation that seemed to emerge in real time. It was a living dialogue, a dynamic negotiation that was simultaneously a philosophical treatise, a technological exchange, and a profound meditation on the nature of existence. Dr. Yuki Nakamura watched in awe as the communication matrices began to reveal potential technological breakthroughs that could transform multiple civilizations. The Indomitable had become more than a ship. It was a living repository of human potential, a beacon of hope and possibility. As the final negotiations reached their conclusion, it became clear that something extraordinary was happening. This wasn't just a diplomatic encounter. This was the beginning of a new chapter in interstellar history, a moment that would be remembered as the true turning point in humanity's evolution. The lost warship had returned, and it was about to change everything.